We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday's Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello again, I'm John Gidley, and welcome to another trip into the football attic. Since today is Black Friday, and because I don't want to run out of NFL ideas too quickly, today we're going to talk college football, specifically the rivalry that made Black Friday a college day, Penn State versus Pittsburgh. First, a little backstory. Prior to the mid-1970s, college teams seldom played on the day after Thanksgiving. This was because most chose to play on Turkey Day itself. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest games in the history of college football was played on Thanksgiving Day in 1971, when top-ranked Nebraska won on the road against number 2 Oklahoma 35-31. As the 70s progressed and the NFL continued its astronomical growth, college games on Thanksgiving became an afterthought, as more and more people watched the Lions and Cowboys traditional games that day. The first big college game to be played on Black Friday was in 1974, when second-ranked Alabama beat number 7 Auburn in the Iron Bowl 17-13. The next year, number 2 Texas A&M played number 5 Texas the day after Thanksgiving, and the Aggies beat the Longhorns 20-10. It was on Black Friday 1976 that one of college football's long-lost rivalries took on a whole new meaning. That night at Three Rivers Stadium, the top-ranked team in the country, the Pittsburgh Panthers, hosted their in-state rivals, the Penn State Nittany Lions, who were ranked 16th. Given that these two schools have the most successful college football programs in Pennsylvania, they were natural rivals. Pitt first played Penn State in 1893, and by this point they had played each other in late November every year since 1935. Rarely had they played, however, with this much on the line, and with this many eyes on them. In front of a primetime national audience on ABC, Tony Dorsett, that season's Heisman Trophy winner, ran for 224 yards and 2 touchdowns, as Pitt maintained their perfect record by beating Penn State 24-7. The Panthers would go on to defeat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl to win the 1976 national championship. The next time Penn State and Pitt played each other on Black Friday was in 1978, when the script was completely flipped. The game was played at Penn State, the Nittany Lions were number 1, and the Panthers were 15th. This time a classic finish ensued. With just over 5 minutes to play, Pitt led by a 10-7 score. Penn State faced a 4th down and 2 at the Panthers' 5-yard line. The field goal unit, led by future Super Bowl winning kicker Matt Barr, began to take the field. But rather than settle for a tie, and remember this was in an era before overtime, Joe Paterno chose to go for it. The decision paid off as running back Mike Gooman took the pitch from quarterback Chuck Fusina and raced into the end zone to give the Nittany Lions the lead for good. Unlike Pitt in 76, however, Penn State could not cap off a perfect season, as they wound up losing to Alabama in the Sugar Bowl 14-7. Their next Black Friday meeting was in 1980, once again in State College. This time Pitt was number 4 and Penn State was number 5. Despite their high rankings, however, neither were in realistic contention for the national championship. That was a title that belonged solely to the Georgia Bulldogs and their Heisman-winning running back, Herschel Walker. Still, it was a very big game, as was the case most times these two teams met. And, likewise, it was a defensive struggle. With the Panthers leading late 14-9, Nittany Lions quarterback Todd Blackledge attempted to throw a pass out of bounds in order to stop the clock. Unfortunately, Blackledge didn't give it the necessary arm strength, as the pass stayed in bounds and was intercepted. Pitt hung on for the victory, which was their second in a row against Penn State, a feat they had not accomplished in over 30 years. Sadly, the final time these two teams faced each other on Black Friday was 38 years ago, but it was arguably the most meaningful Penn State-Pitt game ever. Yet again, they played at Beaver Stadium. Todd Blackledge was still quarterbacking the Nittany Lions, as well as running back Kurt Warner, that's Kurt with a C. The Panthers quarterback saw limited playing time in the 1980 game, but was front and center this time. His name, of course, was Dan Marino. He was already being regarded as one of the top quarterback prospects in the upcoming NFL draft, and would throw a then record 48 touchdown passes for the Miami Dolphins just 2 years after this game was played. On this day, however, a strong Penn State defense and an equally strong breeze kept Marino and the rest of Pitt's offense in check. The Panthers did most of the same, only not as efficiently. Kurt Warner ran for 118 yards, setting up kicker Nick Gancitano for 4 field goals. Gancitano was able to manage the wind, unlike his counterpart Eric Schubert, who missed 3 kicks on the day. Penn State won 19-10, and 4 weeks later upset top-ranked Georgia in the Sugar Bowl to win their first outright national championship in school history. That 1982 game was the last time that a game between Penn State and Pitt meant that much. As the 80s and 90s progressed, the rival schools were rarely competitive at the same time. As has been the case for several classic rivalries, conference commitments, and money, of course, led to the downfall of the Battle of Pennsylvania. After playing in 2000, the Nittany Lions and Panthers wouldn't meet on a football field again until 2016. They've played each other once again in 3 of the last 4 seasons, but it appears as though this was only a temporary arrangement. But hey, look on the bright side. At least it gives Penn State more opportunities to play Idaho. The same goes for Pitt, as their classic rivalry with Austin Peay can be renewed yet again. Thanks for joining me for this trip into the football attic, and I hope to see you again next week. In the meantime, check out all the other great podcasts here on the Sports History Network, and follow me on Twitter at JFG Sports. Until next time, this is John Gidley.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
We at the Sports History Network are thrilled to work with our sponsors and partners. With their support, we are able to produce great content for you. The other cool thing is most of our sponsors and partners offer discounts to pass along to our fans. So if you go to the sportshistorynetwork.com/sponsors page, you'll find Row 1, Royal Retros, Play Classic, Thrive Fantasy, and Mega Seats. All of these offer great discounts. Specifically at Row 1, you can save 15% at the Row 1 Gallery with the code SHN. The Row 1 Gallery includes over 5,200 reproduced sports history prints on a variety of sizes of wood, metal, canvas, acrylic, or poster paper. The Row 1 shop also has thousands of more unique items with retro and historical designs dating back to 1876, including t-shirts and long-sleeve shirts, phone cases and mugs, blankets and pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. With Royal Retros, they're the king of throwbacks. They've got jerseys, shirts, hats, collectibles, and more from defunct leagues and other teams in those leagues. From Play Classic Games, it's sports simulation board games. Just use the code SHN for 10% off your first order. From Thrive Fantasy, it's a daily fantasy sports and esports app for player props. Use the promo code SHN for instant 100% match up to $100. And with Mega Seats, they're tickets with no fees. You can save up to 10% with the code SHN. So check them out on the sportshistorynetwork.com sponsors page. That's sportshistorynetwork.com/sponsors. The soundtrack is provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.